Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin has once again bounced from this exact level of support, which now invalidates this pattern just here. But on top of that, Ethereum is also bouncing from critical support in the short term, while Solana is still sitting on the edge of potentially a major breakout, which I'll talk about later in the video, so make sure to watch to the end. First of all, just giving you a really quick update here on the daily Bitcoin chart. And of course, as of right now, this bearish divergence on the daily time frame is technically still active. And so like I've been saying, over the last 1 to 1.5 weeks, since all the way back up here, of course, this bearish divergence means we're due to see reduced bullish momentum, at least in the somewhat short term here on the daily time frame. And so once again, like I said, around 1 to 1.5 weeks ago, we're most likely going to see either some choppy sideways price action or potentially a bit more of a pullback in the price of Bitcoin. And obviously so far we have seen a lot of choppy sideways price action over the last 1 to 2 weeks, which is one of the most common outcomes from a bearish divergence. And now technically speaking, we have not yet confirmed a break of the bullish price structure in terms of the trend here on the daily time frame, because of course as of right now we're still technically forming higher lows and higher highs on the daily Bitcoin chart. And of course if the price is forming higher lows and higher highs, that is trending in the bullish direction, which basically means, at least for now, we're taking a bit of a short-term pause within the bullish trend, and we could potentially resume the bullish trend later on. But generally speaking, these bearish divergences on the daily time frame play out over a few weeks, usually around 2 to 4 weeks, give or take. And once again, so far it's been around 1 to 2 weeks, which means potentially this could continue to play out, so just keep that in mind. But like I've been saying recently on the channel, even though we have a bearish divergence resulting in a lot of choppy sideways price action, I would only start to flip more bearish again on the trend in the price of Bitcoin on the daily chart if we see a strong bullish reversal here in the DXY, which as of right now has not yet happened. Because as you can see right here, of course, the DXY, which is this red line right here, also on the daily time frame, is still trending in the bearish direction, forming lower highs and lower lows. And typically when the DXY is trending in the bearish direction, of course, that is bullish for the trend in the price of Bitcoin, not every single individual move, but the trend. And so once again, in terms of the trend on the daily time frame, the lows and the highs forming higher lows and higher highs. Of course, I'm still bullish on the price of Bitcoin on the daily chart. It's just right now in the somewhat shorter term relative to the daily time frame, we're taking a bit of a pause from the bullish trend due to that bearish divergence. And once again, I would only begin to expect more of a bearish trend reversal for Bitcoin if we start to see the DXY flip a lot more bullish, which right now has not happened. And now if we're taking a look at the 8-hour Bitcoin chart, obviously over the last 1 day, the price of Bitcoin ran into this ascending line of support, which was sitting at around 40.8k, and we saw basically another perfect bounce from this level of support. And obviously this line of support is first of all based on a previous resistance back here, but we also already found support right here along this line. And so as I said 2 videos ago here on the channel, 2 days ago now, when the price was back up here, I mentioned in the case of a short position, potentially taking some profits around this level of support around 40.8k could make sense, because it's very likely the price could potentially bounce around that support. And so this is why it is important to keep in mind support and resistance levels, because of course the price can turn around at some of these support or resistance levels. And as of right now, this line of support, considering it's an ascending line of support, is now coming into play at around $41,000. And if we're zooming into the 4-hour Bitcoin chart, obviously over the last 1 day with that bounce back to the upside, the price has now invalidated the break to the downside for this symmetrical triangle pattern and invalidated that bearish price target. Because as always, if the price breaks back above the point of the breakdown or breakout, of course, that invalidates that break. And so this right here is a perfect example of why we should always be using stop losses in the case of leverage trades. Of course, not financial advice, but personally, I always use a stop loss, because in a case like this, of course, you can use a stop loss to either break even or even guarantee some profits if you're moving your stop loss into profits as the trade enters into profits, which in this case with a short position, of course, if you're moving your stop loss further into profits just behind where the price was, obviously if the price reversed quickly like what we saw, that would just trigger your stop loss and to exit you out of the trade wherever your stop loss was. And so personally, with my short position that I entered right around here, of course I did enter into profits and I moved my stop loss right around my entry price. And so in this case, with a quick reversal back to the upside, which is basically the worst case scenario for a short position, but even in this scenario, that simply triggered my stop loss and closed my trade automatically at break even. So I did not lose anything. And so with trading like this, of course, moving moving your stop loss to break even or into profits, ideally once the trade enters well into profits. Essentially, just by using that stop loss to your advantage, you can guarantee profits or at the very least minimize losses with these trades. And if you're wondering where I take these trades, personally I trade over on Bybit, and I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit in the description down below and in the pinned comment, because if you use that link down below this video, you can potentially claim up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or you cannot KYC on Bybit, there is also Bitflex, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitflex. And so I'll also make sure to leave a link to Bitflex in the description down below and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link and deposit $100 worth of crypto on Bitflex and make one trade over on Bitflex, you can get 10 USDT completely for free. And so if you're trading crypto anyway, or if you're preparing to take the next trade, you might as well check out those links down below this video, get set up ready to go with an account on an exchange to claim those extra bonuses in the meantime. But now that the price of Bitcoin has invalidated this pattern and invalidated this price target, of course, right now, just in the short term, we don't really have any exact price targets based on technical patterns. But if we're taking a look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, of course, we do have this area of liquidity sitting in between around 43.6K to 43.8K approximately. And so just in the somewhat shorter term, that's basically attracting the price of Bitcoin towards that area of liquidity, but that could also act as a bit of short-term resistance. But if we do end up seeing a breakout back above around 43.8, 43.9K, if we break out above those levels, then we will likely see the price of Bitcoin return to these local highs, which is sitting closer towards around 44,500. But remember, on the daily time frame, we're still basically just chopping around sideways here on the daily chart as a result of that bearish divergence. But believe it or not, you can actually make a lot of profit very easily in crypto in choppy sideways price action just like this. And if you want to know how to do that, then stick around to the end of this video to find out more. But first, getting into the Ethereum part of this video, this is on the weekly time frame, and right now the price of ETH is actually retesting this previous area of resistance, which is now acting as new support. And this price range is sitting in between around $2,000 going all the way up towards around $2,150 here on the weekly time frame based on these previous highs. And so at least for now, on the much larger time frames, of course, I'm still very much leaning bullish in terms of the trend and momentum on the larger time frames, but obviously on slightly smaller time frames in the shorter term, we can see some short-term consolidations and pullbacks even while the larger trend is bullish. And if we're taking a look at the daily time frame, once again, just like Bitcoin, and as I've been saying over the last 1 to 2 weeks, of course, we still have an active bearish divergence here on the daily time frame. And so this is basically telling us that at least in the shorter term, as in potentially over the next couple of weeks, we should not really be expecting a significant amount of bullish momentum. And instead, it is very likely that we're going to continue to see either some choppy sideways price action or potentially a little bit more of a pullback here in the price of ETH, once again, potentially over the next 1 to 2 weeks or so. Because when you're talking about a bearish divergence on the daily time frame, once again, these usually play out over multiple weeks. And so far, it's been a little over 1 week since this bearish divergence confirmed. And once again, over the last 1 day, we have now seen another perfect bounce from this area of support, which is sitting in between around 2.1K going up towards around 2150. And obviously, if you've been on this channel for a while, you would know that I've been talking about this price range for quite a while, because it was resistance since all the way back here during April, and it was resistance again during November. But once again, if we break out above resistance, that usually flips into new support, as we've seen just recently. We've now seen 2 perfect bounces from this area of support. And so at least on the daily time frame, this is one of the most important areas of support. And here on the 8-hour time frame, looking at the Fibonacci retracement tool, we do have a Fibonacci level at around 2150, which once again extends this area right here down towards around 2.1K if you're looking at these previous highs. But basically, if we confirm a break below 2.1K, then in that case, our next significant support is sitting at around 2010 to 2020 approximately. So nearly $100 drop in the price of ETH if we confirm a break below 2.1K. And also here on the 8-hour time frame, what we can potentially see forming is a possible falling wedge pattern, which is a bullish pattern, because at least as of right now, we do have 3 major touch points along this line of resistance and also along this line of support right here. And as of right now, this line of support is sitting at approximately 2150, with this line of resistance sitting at around 2250. And so obviously, in order to confirm a bullish breakout and a bullish technical price target for this pattern. Of course, we need to see a confirmed breakout above this resistance, above around 2250 with confirmation, like for example, candle closes above that line. And basically, if we do end up confirming the breakout to the upside, then in that case, the technical price target for this pattern is simply around the top of the wedge, which is sitting at close to 2.4K. And so from the point of the breakout to that price target, we're talking around a 6% move to the upside, which could potentially be the next trade we could take, of course, if we first confirm a breakout above resistance, which as of right now has not yet happened. And if we're taking a look at the shorter term, looking at the 2-hour time frame, obviously over the last multiple days, we saw that short-term bearish divergence play out. But as I said in my last video, obviously the 2-hour Ethereum RSI entered into oversold territories, which was telling us we had very limited room to the downside, at least in the short term, and we're due to see a bounce sometime soon. And obviously, ever since I said that in my last video right around here, that's pretty much exactly what we have now seen, a bounce here in the RSI and the price. And just here on the smaller time frames, on the 2-hour chart, once again, the price of ETH is potentially forming an inverse head and shoulders pattern, because at least as of right now, we have already seen a left shoulder and a head. And right now, if we do see a little bit more of a pullback and a bounce here in the short term, that could potentially form a right shoulder. And basically, if we break out above around 2250 approximately, then that could confirm an inverse head and shoulders pattern if we first confirm a right shoulder. And in case you're wondering, an inverse head and shoulders pattern is a bullish pattern. And in that scenario, looking at a potential price target, if we complete the right shoulder and confirm a breakout, that would set up a technical price target at around 2370, which from the point of the breakout to that price target is around a 5% move to the upside. So very similar to that falling wedge pattern. But remember, at least as of right now, none of these patterns are even completed. At least this falling wedge pattern is forming right now, but this potential inverse head and shoulders pattern has not even completed forming at all. Once again, we still need to see a possible right shoulder and then a breakout in order for that pattern to confirm. But anyway, getting into the Solana part of this video, this is on the 3-day time frame, and honestly, just recently, the price of Solana on the 3-day chart hasn't really changed all that much over the last few days, because as you can see here on the chart, the price of Solana over the last few days has basically been chopping around sideways within this golden pocket, the most important area on the chart. And so basically, if we end up seeing a confirmed breakout above the golden pocket with 3-day candle closes, but ideally weekly candle closes above the golden pocket, so above around $77, then in that case, the next important Fibonacci level of resistance to the upside is this level right here, the 78.6% Fibonacci level of resistance, which is sitting closer towards around $120. But at least for now, considering we have not yet confirmed a breakout above the golden pocket, of course, it's still a possibility we could end up seeing a rejection from this resistance, which we need to consider. But even in that case, even if we do see a rejection from this golden pocket in the price of Solana, obviously we could just form a new higher low on the larger scale, which is still bullish price structure. So in terms of the larger trend here, I'm still very much leaning bullish, even though we could see short-term pullbacks here and there. And if we're taking a look at the price of Solana on the daily time frame, right now there is a bearish divergence with higher highs confirmed in the price in the candle closes and lower highs confirmed here in the daily Solana RSI. And so once again, just like Bitcoin and Ethereum, this means that at least just in the short term here, we have limited bullish momentum, which is why we've seen a lot of choppy sideways price action, especially over the last 1 week or so, just like Bitcoin and Ethereum. And once again, this could potentially continue possibly over the next 1 week. But believe it or not, you can actually make a lot of profit very easily in choppy sideways price action just like this. And if you want to know how to do that, then check out the video in the bottom left of your screen right now, because that video right there shows you how you can easily profit in choppy sideways price action, and the video in the top left shows you how you can long or short to profit if the price is bullish or bearish. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.